back to another episode of the Media Mania Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Media Maverick Mike Weldon, and today my guest is War Driven Johnny Faith. Johnny, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, boss.
Of course. I see you're in your war room.
I am, man. Yeah, I told you I was going to bring you to the war room, and here we are. So, yeah,
hmm Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on, and I'm excited to hear about War Driven Johnny Faith and how you came to be.
definitely. I appreciate the opportunity, and anytime I can share my story with anybody in the world that wants to listen, I'm all for it.
So I know you have your military background. Like, did that help you? Like, I see like everything's like camo and all your gear is like military inspired. Like, is that how you came up with the name War Driven as well?
So, war driven, actually, I used to be, when I first started wrestling, I used to be the American hero, Johnny Face. And 2 years ago, I had a heart attack. And, during that recovery time that I had, I really didn't know if I was going to be able to wrestle again. And, I thought back to like what my dad would have told me, in that situation and how he would have handled things and told me to keep fighting and win the war within, and then that's just how war driven came about. It's winning the war within. It's not about winning any kind of war out here, out there. No, it's winning the war in here first before anything else.
I totally get it. I've my father, he had a heart attack and he's diabetic, so I totally get it. I want to ask you about your time with Dr. Tom Prichard, like, cause you're like the third person I've gotten to interview who has came through Dr. Tom Prichard's school. What was your experience like getting to learn from someone like him?
It was great from the first night. The first night I was probably starstruck because I was like, here's Dr. Tom, the guy that's trained, Kurt Angle, The Rock, all the greats that we know and love, and his mind for the business is just so widespread and amazing that everyone wants to learn from him. And when I had that opportunity to head to Knoxville, Tennessee for those 3 months, from day one, I was blown away because I was learning instantly. And even though it's been about a year and a couple months since I graduated from his school, I'm still, trying to digest that whole 3 months, honestly.
Okay. Did you get to train with anyone at that school that you see a lot of now at shows?
We had, like, what do you mean? Like the guys that I trained with,
Yeah,
or
like other talent that trained there at that time, or other talent that was there before you that you've gotten to work with now.
actually, no, not really. Like where I'm at, and then all those guys are usually like up in the Tennessee area, the NWA JCP area, and all that. And even with the NWA guys now, like the Kazana brothers, Tyler Shoop as well was another one. Dylan McQueen. Dylan McQueen came and trained with us a little bit as well, if you know who Dylan McQueen is. Uh,
I know Dylan.
but we, the Page sisters went to a seminar with them. Got to go work a couple of their shows in their battle royals and stuff at KFW. And same with NWA JCP. Got to go do security and stuff for them. So I mean, there was a, I mean,
Okay. You named off quite a few. I've actually gotten to sit down and interview with Tyler Shoop, and like I said, everyone I've interviewed that came from Tom Pritchard's school has had nothing but good things to say about Tom Pritchard, and I just to have that continued trend is like it's an awesome thing to hear. Actually, there is one thing. I don't know if you remember, but I've met you one time in person. It was at a promotion in Gallatin, Tennessee. I forget who was on the card that night, but you were one of the people on that card, and I was helping set up chairs and all that, and I just happened to bump into you, and I just started talking to you. And that was one of the things that made me like start looking for you again, like to possibly come on the podcast.
yeah, that was Rock and Wrestling Federation back when it was Rock and Wrestling Federation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wrestled Kevin Jones that night or something, from what I can remember. Uh, but yeah, I remember that show. I don't remember you, man. Not nothing personal, but that's just it's just
I
mentality
get it.
and meeting
I get it.
people.
I was
But
just another face
now
that
that
night.
I
I
think
get it.
about it, your name looks familiar because I remember I got there pretty early and y'all were still setting up chairs and all that
Yeah.
because I got there super early. I think while the ring was still being put up.
I think
And
it was a Memorial Day show. I think it was a Memorial Day show or something.
it was a hot show. I can tell you that. I remember that. I remember it being
Yeah.
hot in there, and I'm pretty sure I wrestled Kevin Jones, Kevin the Thug Jones. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember. So yeah,
You've also wrestled for another promotion that I've started keeping up with, Kraken Pro Wrestling. What has your experience been like with them?
I love Kraken. I've been trying to get to wrestle up at Kraken Pro Wrestling for about 2 years now, and ever since I moved to the area, I was always told, "Hey, that's a company you want to go work for, Kraken Pro Wrestling." William Huckabee and my original trainer, Billy Simmons, actually go back a long way, so they're pretty good friends. So I won their Rise from the Deep challenge back in December, and the fans
Mhm.
voted me as a new roster member, and I've been wrestling there ever since. And their experience there is great because the way they do their shows is they shoot their shows for TV because they have episodes every Thursday that drop on their YouTube page. So every week they're releasing a new episode of matches, and that's how their shows are ran. It's not really like a normal wrestling show. It's like ran for TV. So it's pretty good in that aspect to learn that part of the business as well.
So the episodes drop on Thursday. Like, are they also recorded on Thursdays as well, or do they just drop on Thursdays?
So we record like 9 or 10 matches, each month per show in Tifton,
Mhm.
Georgia, and then they release them over like 3 or 4 episodes. So
Okay, that's
we
pretty
tape
cool.
we tape pretty much a whole month's worth of footage in one show, and then they release it in episodes over like 3 or 4 weeks. So it's pretty cool, and to learn that part of the business because companies are starting to do that now and starting to put their shows on YouTube and shoot that way because it's starting to generate revenue from YouTube views.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure, and it helps all the talent get exposure too to other places.
Yeah.
Like you might have a fan watch Kraken and say, "Hey, we should bring there," and they might not see you a lot at their home promotion, and they reach out to the promoter there and say, "Hey, you should get this guy to come on. He's pretty cool."
I even have like fans in Kansas at my promotion in Kansas that I wrestle for, Heartland Championship Wrestling. They're starting to recognize Kraken Pro Wrestling now too. So I'm starting to build that base, trying to mix fans with other promotions and stuff. And that exposure with Kraken and that YouTube really helped, get my
It
fans
does.
from Kansas watching me wrestle other places and against other people.
So I know you've had a recent setback with your injury. What is your recovery going like right now? Like when do we expect to see War Driven Johnny Face back in the ring?
So I broke my foot about 6 weeks ago in a match in Kansas, and it was before the match had even started. I was ambushed at the beginning and my foot broke, and I wrestled probably a 10-minute match, with the broken foot. Didn't even realize it was broken until after, obviously. And my recovery's good. Today was the first day I got to go to the gym. I put a video out on all my socials. Today was the first gym workout since my foot injury. So it's been 6 weeks, and I finally got back at it today, and things are moving along pretty well. Not sure exactly the timetable for return just yet, honestly, but right now things are looking good, and my foot's feeling good, and I'm just glad not to be walking in a boot anymore, and I can start lifting weights again and working back.
Well, at least you can say you have one thing in common with Kurt Angle now. He won a gold medal with a broken neck. You wrestled a 10-minute match with a broken foot.
Yeah, I didn't even, which is weird. Is my wife was mad when she realized my foot was busted, and I even told the referee, I was like, I can go. I was like, we let's go. Like, I at in the moment, where I was at, the storyline that we're trying to tell at that company, that match really needed to happen, and I just gritted my teeth and went through, and it was a pretty good match. Honestly, we had to change a whole lot, but the whole match pretty much was scrapped because of my broken foot. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I won the match. I eventually won the match. I did win the match, and come to find out when I went to the doctor when I got back here to Georgia, my foot was broke.
It's still crazy you wrestled with a broken foot and still came out on top in the match. It's pretty impressive. It's badass. That's a badass thing you can say you did.
Yeah, it is, and I didn't even realize how busted my foot was until I took my boot off when I got to the back after the match was over because it didn't really even the adrenaline was still rolling so high on me from the match that I didn't even feel anything in the foot at all until I took my boot off, and then I was like, I called my wife and I was like, yeah, I think we're gonna need to probably go to the hospital or something, or I'm gonna need to see a doctor because this is it's busted.
Okay. So, how did you come up with your war room? I've seen your videos whenever you're getting to go into a promotion or a big match, you're always in the war room, like talking to your battle buddies. Like, how did you come? How did the war room get its name?
So it was just I was trying to figure out if you go back probably 3 or 4 years when I first moved to Georgia and look at my promos back then. It's up me up against a wooden fence in my yard because I was always taught for promos you need like a background. Like if it's not part of your gimmick or anything, you need kind of like a stationary background where it's not distracting, and it just needs to be short, sweet, to the point, you know. And for me, I got bored and tired of that fence background in my promos. And for me, I'm a promo guy, so I'll cut a couple promos per match for people,
Yeah.
and I'm not one to like shy away from promos. Like I'll do it. So I was trying to figure out a way to up my promo game. And it wasn't until I went to a Ricky Morton seminar and he was like, you know what, Johnny? He's like, you need to make something that fits your gimmick as your background. And I was brainstorming ideas on what I could do. And I was like, it hit me. I was thinking about a talk in during a deployment. There is a place called the Talk, and it has like all the maps and like the computers and the radios and stuff, and it's the main part of where the operation headquarters is held, during a mission or something. So I decided to try to
Hmm.
bring that into my gimmick and my promos and stuff. So the war room's what I came up with. I got a Johnny Face battle flag. I got my camo netting, my whiteboard usually has like missions and weaknesses and strengths of my next opponent on it and stuff like that. Obviously, right now it says "Welcome Media Mania Podcast," but yeah, the
Yeah,
war
I
room
love
just
that.
came
I love
about.
that you put. I love that you put the Media Mania podcast on your whiteboard. I appreciate. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
your gear that you wear, did you take any inspiration from your time in the military to how you wanted your gear to look?
So that gear was kind of like which gear are you talking about? Because I got two sets of gear. I got the green, black, brown with like the barbed wire dog tags. And then I also got the two new sets, which is the ACU camo and the BDU camo.
Just in general, like, did you take like for all your gear designs? Did you take your time from the military into consideration for your gears?
Yeah,
Because
definitely. I mean,
in one of your gears, it looked like you're wearing like a bulletproof vest or something, or close to it or something.
so my entrance vest is a
Yeah.
flick. It's a flick. It's where you put your ammo. If you
Mhm.
have a secondary weapon, you put it there. It's a flick. I don't wear it to wrestle, but I wear it as my intro gear. But yeah, my first set of gear is green, black, brown, and it's got dog tags on it. And in the dog tags is initials of people that have passed away that have inspired my life, whether it was soldiers. I got a new set of gear with my dad's name on there after he passed. So those initials on those dog tags in that first set of gear, that gear is important. But this new gear that I got, the ACU gear and the BDU gear,
Mhm.
that gear was definitely pulled straight out of the military because I had somebody design it for me, and I really loved it. And you don't really see. I know you see a lot of BDU out there,
Mhm.
camo, woodland camo. There's a lot of people out there that rock that stuff, but I did an ACU camo. So I did the ACU camo, and it's not really a good camo. It's the gray and black camo, white camo, but it looks good. But that all that was straight derived from the military. Originally, Johnny Faith wasn't supposed to be a military gimmick at all, but things fell into place to where it worked out, and it became more natural and authentic for me to just tap into the military side of me. So the gear definitely came from the military. The barbed wire, Constantine wire. I helped set up fobs downrange and stuff, so we use barbed wire all the time. So most of that stuff is pulled from real life.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because I'm sure, I'm sure you've seen all these characters in pro wrestling. Like, they do these like military style characters. Like, you've had your Sergeant Slaughters. You've had the the I can't remember the tag team. They're old tag team from way back in the day. They did a military style gimmick. You had Lacey Evans in WWE. She did her drill sergeant gimmick for a minute in WWE. What do you think? Like who do you think has done, in your opinion, has done like the best, closest military style gimmick in professional wrestling?
The best one. I mean, I really was a fan of the Patriot growing up. Honestly, I really was a fan of Del Wilkes and the Patriot gimmick growing up. When I was a kid, I used to watch Shotgun Saturday Night all the time because I'd stay up late on Saturdays, and WWF would air Shotgun Saturday Night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and the Patriot would always be wrestling on that show for some reason. Like he was always on there, and I always liked his gimmick. I really didn't care. I mean, Sergeant Slaughter was all right. He was good.
Mm-hmm.
His the drill sergeant gimmick was good and all that. Then when he became a sympathizer and turned heel, it kind of took away, But I really like the Patriot. Like for me, I always thought that his military gimmick was cool for me because it wasn't really over the top and it wasn't everyone could get behind it. It was something everyone could get behind. Like how could you say no to that?
Yeah, of course. So I was gonna ask you like now I've lost the question somewhere. Uh, so what is next for Johnny Faith? Like coming back from your injury, like what is next for War Driven Johnny Faith? What is your first thing you want to do coming back from your foot injury?
So I got a championship belt out in Kansas that some goon is holding. Honestly, that belongs to me, and I'm owed a championship match. So that is the first thing on my list. I got to go to Kansas and I got to right a wrong, and that's because the foot injury is because of that. It's all involved. Like that whole thing is twisted in the foot injury, my time on the shelf. Like I'm very eager to get back to the ring, and Kansas is the first place I'm headed because I need to beat somebody's tail and I need to win a championship back. And then after that, we'll see.
Okay. So how did you come up with your entrance thing? Like, did you have someone help you come up with it, or did you just kind of come up with it on your own?
Everything's on my own. Like most of it is critiques. Like I'll ask people what they think of it. I'll go back and I'll watch it. I'll do like 4 or 5 different entrances and see which one I like best. But the main one that I do now is just a huge salute. I point to the sky and then I just go see the fans. Like other than that, it's not really theatrics at all. It's more of I do my tributes and then I'm straight to fighting.
Okay. So, like, what are your like music? Like, how did you come to choose your music?
So that music is custom made by a rapper named Eddie Ruger out of North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. He's a rapper that makes wrestling entrances, and he was advertising one day because I used to use a couple intro music. I used to use Click Click Boom by Saliva, and then I used
Mm-hmm.
to use Indestructible by Disturbed. But nowadays the copyright thing and all that. But 4 or 5 years ago, when I really wanted to invest into my character, uh, I hit up Eddie Ruger for some custom music because there's no copyright. I own it all, like it's all me and all that. So I hit up Eddie Ruger, and my intro music is what we came up with.
Okay. And you were talking about it a second ago. You were wanting to go back and right or wrong after your foot injury. I'm sure you've heard other people say it in the business that wrestlers have a bump card, and you only have so many bumps on that card before your body says you're done. Like where do you see Johnny Faith like being like 10 years down the line in professional? Like, do you still see yourself being active in pro wrestling in some way, or do you plan to step away at some point?
Yeah, I definitely plan to step away at some point, obviously, but I'm hoping to be able to be in it in some capacity, whether it's help a trainer, whether it's do commentary, announcing, because where I live, there's a lot of opportunities around here for managers, for announcers, like ring announcers, all that. So if once my in ring competition and all that's over, once I'm done and hang up the boots, but yeah, I still want to be in part of wrestling in some capacity. I really hope, honestly, I want to help train. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily be a head trainer or anything like that, but I want to, help train, the
Yeah,
next
help pass along your
generation.
knowledge.
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like I have knowledge that I can pass on and I can help the next generation. And my military career uh, helped me become a great teacher, like, teaching people how to do all kinds of stuff. So I don't know why I couldn't help teach professional wrestling.
in North Carolina, like it is such a rich wrestling history. Like you have so much, and you would have your pick of the litter of where you would want to help train it because you've had so much talent come through North Carolina. You've had the Hardys, you've had Hurricane Shane Helms, you've had the Nature Boy Ric Flair, you've had Charlotte Flair, you've had R Truth. Like there's so much great talent and so many great matches have happened in North Carolina.
Yeah,
And
like
you were
they're
just talking about it. You were talking about Greensboro. Like the Greensboro Coliseum has been host of some awesome wrestling in from the past and present.
yeah, the whole state of North Carolina is it's flooded with wrestling tradition.
Did you take that into like when you got into professional wrestling? Did you take into consideration what states you wanted to work in most that have like such a rich wrestling history? Like I know you were talking about Tennessee. And Tennessee also has another rich wrestling history. Like you've had the territory days, Memphis wrestling. Did you take all that into consideration when Johnny Faith got into professional wrestling?
Honestly, because I started training out in Kansas, so I was like, what, 1,200 miles away from home. My main goal was to wrestle in North Carolina as much as I could. Like that was my main goal. Honestly, it took me like 2 years. It took me 2 years to get to North Carolina after I started training, and it was all because I want my family to see me wrestle. You know what I mean? Like I told them they've known since I was a kid that this was a dream of mine, and all that, and all the cards fell into place to where I could become a wrestler after the army, and you know the only thing I wanted to do was, one, to become a wrestler, and two, to wrestle in front of my family in North Carolina, because that was it. That was it for me. But now I want to wrestle everywhere. Like I want to wrestle in as many states as possible, different countries. I was just telling my wife how I wanted to go wrestle in England or Canada or something like that. Like that's one of my bucket lists over the next couple of years, is maybe a overseas trip or something, because now the sky's the limit for me. Whereas back then I just started getting my boots on. I just wanted to wrestle in North Carolina, but now I want to go everywhere. North Carolina for sure, because that's where the family is,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
there's nothing like wrestling in front of my family. You know,
Oh,
um,
it's
you
a whole
know,
different thing when you're like you be wrestling in front of thousands of strangers. That's one thing, but wrestling in front of your family, like, you have to put on your A game. Like you have to like give everything you have in front of your family. Like, you have to like go be the very best version of you in that ring.
for sure, because that's the moment right there. The moment leads up to that. Like everything that I've done in wrestling leads up to my family watching me wrestle. And when those shows happen, I really got to be at my best, like you said, like for sure. So that always used to be the goal. But now that I'm 7 years in, I just want to wrestle wherever now with as many people, learn as much as I can.
Is it? So I know you're saying you want to go wrestle in like the UK, Japan, Canada, and all that. Is there a certain style of wrestling that you love watching the most, or do that you put into your style in in the ring? Like I'm sure you see their strong style. There's like your strikers. There's your grapplers. Like, is there a certain style that you like interpreting into your move set?
I'm starting to interpret. I'm starting to interpret more grappling into my style.
Okay.
More of a grappler, because you know before, when I was the American hero, I was all flamboyant. USA, USA.
Mm-hmm.
I was very flamboyant, but now I'm more intense and I'm more down to earth. So I'm more like when I went to train with Dr. Tom, he was telling me, why don't you be more intense, like more ground and pound, more grappler, more suplexes, be more intense like that. And slowly but surely over the last few years, I've been evolving my character into that, and that's how War Driven, kind of was brought back, I guess, or born. And now I'm just grappler, brawler sometimes too if I have to be, but I'd say more grappler right now.
Okay. So speaking of your moveset, how did you come up with like your finisher and all? Like, did you have someone critique you on your finish on how it should look, or did you just did you just watch, did you just go watch footage of other wrestlers and look at their finishers and just try to go off of that?
So my finisher is, I don't know. Do you know what my finisher is?
I don't think I've ever seen a clip of you hitting your finisher.
So it's a grenade launcher. It's a second rope senton, but I tuck like a cannonball, like I'm doing a cannonball into a swimming pool. So how that came about was I was in training one day, and I was trying to come up with a comeback, I was trying to come up with a comeback, and the end of my comeback, I was gonna do a run in senton like Samoa Joe does,
Mhm.
and I was gonna do a run in senton, and I think one time I was doing it with the guy I was training with, and I tucked like I was doing a cannonball into a swimming pool, and when I hit him, my trainer was like, "Wow, that looked pretty good. Do it again." So I did it again, and he's like, "Do you think you could do that off the second rope or even the top rope?" I was like, "Maybe." I was like, I don't know." So I practiced it. And I got it down. And then it wasn't until I was at believe it or not, I was at a Dr. Tom Prichard before I went to a school. I was at one of his seminars with him and Les Thatcher, and he it was Sunday. We had just finished for the day, and he was talking about finishers. So he went around the room and was asking, "Hey, what's your finish?" And I was like, "It's a second rope senton." And he's like, "Can you show me?" So I got up on the rope, and I I didn't do the move itself, but I just talked him through it so he could visually see the
Mhm.
move. And he's like, "You don't do anything else?" I was like, "No, not really." He's like, "Let." He's like, "Can we create some character work there?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "It's called the grenade launcher, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you do in the military right before you throw a grenade?" I was like, "You yell grenade." And he's like, "What if you pulled the pin out of a grenade, dropped it on the guy, yell grenade, and then went and did your finisher?" And I was like,
Eh,
"Okay." And that's what I've
I'm
done
good
ever
with that.
since. And that's what
So
I've done ever since.
when you were at Dr. Tom Pritchard's school, did you ever get to train with I'm because I'm sure you know Glenn Jacobs. He was also one of the guys that I think was still helping. I don't know if he was there when you were there, but did you get to train with Glenn Jacobs any when you were at his school?
So he never. No, he was in his mayor. He did his mayor stuff. He was doing mayor stuff the whole time we were there, and then he did, I think, a bunch of WWE stuff as well. But he was.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was all Dr. Tom the whole time pretty much. And Glenn Jacobs, like he never was there, but it's to be expected with him being the mayor of Knox County and all that.
Yeah, I was. That was one of the things because I'm originally from Tennessee. I was living in Middle Tennessee at the time when he became mayor. I'm like, you're the guy that set people on fire is the mayor of Knox County. You have me confused. I'm never going to Knoxville again. Nope, he gonna set the place on fire. But that's still cool. You got to go to a school ran by Dr. Tom Pritchard and Glenn Jacobs. That's a feather in your cap right there. Like just right off the like you were already into your career, but like getting to train with someone like you were saying, a guy that helped train like the likes of The Rock, Kurt Angle, and just so many
And
others.
like all kinds of people, yeah.
And I heard this from other people I've interviewed that went to his school. Something about ice cream. He does this some quote about ice cream or something. I don't know. I always get it twisted when I bring it up, and I always have to have someone else say it. Like it's something about it's not everyone's flavor ice cream or something. I don't know. It's like my last guest I had on that was from Dr. Tom Pritchard's school brought it up, and I don't know if you ever heard him say something along those
He said it
lines or
all the
not.
time. Yeah, it was always something like, this isn't everybody's flavor of ice cream, but this is my flavor of ice cream, or so, it was something along those lines. But he would always talk about how there's different ways in the business to do things, and the way
Mm-hmm.
he teaches is not necessarily the way somebody in California teaches their students. It's not the wrong way, but it's just Dr. Tom's flavor of ice cream.
Yeah. So for the rest of 2026, I know you were saying you wanted to go get that title back, but other than that, what is the goal for War Driven Johnny Face for the rest of 2026? I know it's August, we're almost probably the year's almost over. Like, what do you have planned for the rest of 2026 and going into early 2027?
So as hopefully this foot heals 100%. I want to say right now it's probably like 75, 80% right now.
Mm-hmm.
So hoping to get that back to 100%. And then from there, like I said, I got Kraken Pro Wrestling that'll be coming up. Heartland Championship Wrestling in Kansas, I'll be wrestling at. I got some stuff coming up in North Carolina. Vengeance Pro Wrestling is going to be running stuff out of Burlington, North Carolina, starting in September. That I'm going to be starting to be a part of up that way. And then who knows what else.
Okay. Well, for fans that might not have discovered War Driven Johnny Faith yet, where can they go support you at? And like, if they want to support you, like if they want to show up to a show or they want to buy your merch, where can they go buy some of your merch at?
So they can go to Pro Wrestling Tees to get some merch there. Uh, just search Johnny Faith 704 on Pro Wrestling Tees. And then like all my socials are the same. It's at Johnny Faith 704 for Instagram, for X, for Facebook, all that stuff. TikTok, I'm on there as well. I put videos on TikTok as well sometimes. So at Johnny Face 704. But Pro Wrestling Tees is a place where you can get my new shirts, my merch, and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Or
I made you a QR code. It's right here. If y'all go to that top left hand corner, it'll take you right to Johnny Faith's Pro Wrestling Tees shop. Make sure you pick up some of his merch. It looks awesome. I got to check it out, and I'm gonna buy me a shirt.
yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, the shirts are, and they're all military themed shirts, honestly. And some of those shirts on there are old school, and they actually have some like initials of fallen soldiers and stuff on there. So yeah, buy some shirts, man. Like let's support and remember.
I, I definitely, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on and giving me some of your time and getting to hear about War Driven Johnny Faith. And I can't wait to see what you do for the rest of the 2026 and the rest of your career. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come on.
I appreciate it. I definitely give you a big salute for letting me come on and tell my story. It's like I tell everybody, whenever I can get a chance to tell a story or two, and we could talk about wrestling at the same time, I'm all for it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all for allowing me the opportunity to interview War Driven Johnny Faith. I appreciate him taking the time to come on. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host as always, the Media Mania Mike Wood, and make sure you catch us on the flip side.